So yesterday's class we discussed like what is Bootstrap framework. So why we need Bootstrap and what are the different libraries that are provided along with Bootstrap. These things we discussed in the yesterday's class. So now let's see the concept of Bootstrap one by one. The first one we'll see here. It is the container classes in Bootstrap. In order to present some data, so how the data is displayed. So Bootstrap has provided two main classes for us. We call them container classes. So what are these container classes and how they present the data? Now see here. First of all, I'll take some development. Everything in Bootstrap, they are provided in the form of class selectors. So directly you can specify which class you want there. So first I will use a class called that is container fluid. Inside I will write some text. H1, welcome to Bootstrap. Of course, if we want to align center, then we can write like align equal to center property we can use. Our Bootstrap has provided a class here that is text center. So this class when we use, automatically the text is placed at center of the page. So that this is one class we can use here. That's a container class, container fluid. Next, we'll use one more class here. That's a container class. So what is the difference when we run the page? Strictly speaking, there is no difference you can find when you are displaying the data. But what I will do here is I'll use some property here. I'll use some property here like style equals to background color. I'll use some style there. Here also, that's what I told you. We can include CSS inside Bootstrap. Style equal to, we can write background color width like this. Now when we run the output, it will be printed here like this. So what is the difference you find with container and container fluid classes? So this is a container fluid class. And this is the container class here. So what is the difference you identified? So when we are using container fluid, fluid means what? Liquid. So it will occupy the complete shape there when we are. But when you are using container classes, it will take some margins, fixed margins towards the left and right. Horizontally, you can find some margins that is used here. So that's contained. Container fluid means automatically it will occupy the complete screen width. Like the thing here is like while presenting some data, if you think that some data towards left or right, it may be cropped, then you can go for container classes. No cropping, nothing will be there. So we can use container fluid. It is up to us which class to be used. We can find it. So this is the first set of classes provided. Next, here itself I will show you. Like yesterday we said, while presenting any data, so when we take any textbook or something, at the beginning of the textbook chapters, they will provide a gray color box in which they will provide some description or table of contents there. Similarly, any page you are seeing, if you want to present such type of things, then we can use a class called Jumbotron. So what is this Jumbotron? Now let's see, I will show you. So here itself, I will use a container class there. Okay, I'll remove this style not required. So div class equal to container, and then I'll use Jumbotron. Multiple class selectors we can use. So that when we run, this is what we. So this is what exactly we call it a Jumbotron. So the gray color background, light gray color background it will have, where you can present some content inside. You can see many examples we can have it there. Like when we go, so now you can see here, we have this Jumbotron presented, learn Java. So what you are doing there. So in the introduction of anything, any chapter or something, like you can see, just if we want to highlight some content with a box like that, we can. And of course, Jumbotron will have its own properties. Suppose I want to change color. Let's try to change it. I'll take like that. We'll have some built-in properties. If required, we can define our own set of properties also there. Hmm? Jumbotron. So container classes, mainly whatever the content we are printing, that content we can place them inside the container classes here like this. Okay. So as we discussed yesterday, Bootstrap is used to design responsive web pages. Means, according to the device width, the content will be displayed or the content will be adjusted. Then how that responsive pages were designed? So, for that purpose, Bootstrap has provided something called grid system. It has provided something called grid system. So what they did is, our web page, logically, they have divided into 12 columns. So that in each column, we can specify or we can place a particular type of content. It can be some text or image, whatever it is. Any type of content, we can place it. If required, if you think 12 columns are more to you, then you can merge some columns and you can use. We can merge some columns and we can use. Like how they are provided. Let's see here, different classes they have provided here. That is, we'll see. So we can have the grid system provided there. So you can see total 12 columns, they are presented. Each column we can use it separately. If required, we can merge the columns into groups. And in each group, we can place some different content there. In each group, we can place some different content there like this. Like for example, this one itself is a grid system. So the total screen, what they did. So some columns reserved for side nav, some columns for the content area, some columns for the advertisements. Like that they are designed. So depending on our requirement, we can merge them and we can. So for that purpose, they have provided a set of classes here. So these classes, we call them grid classes. I told you, every device will have a particular screen width. Every device will have a particular screen width. According to the device width, the content will be presented. Like what are they? The first one is call. So this is used mostly for what? Mobile devices. Small mobile devices. You can see the width, depending on the device width, that property we can use. Then we can have like column small devices. Small devices means like what we can say, like tabs. Tabs whose screen width is more than this particular size. And then we have like column MD, which is used for mini laptops. It is used for mini laptops to present it. Then when you take normal PCs or laptops, so there we can use column large. Extra large means for screens which are having more than 1200 pixels. So in that particular width, if you have, then you can use extra large. So these are the different classes they have provided. So generally, most of the cases, what we do. So if we don't know which device we are going to run, so what we can do is we can use either column SM, we can use either column SM or column MD here. These two classes we can use. Just like how it is used, now I will show see here. What I will do is first I will take div class equals to container. So mostly I will go for container class only. Div class equal to container. I'll remove all these things. So first what I will do inside, I will take one div element. Div class equal to row. I'm taking a particular row. I'm taking a particular row. In this row, what I am doing, again I will use one more div element. Again I am using one more div element. Div class equals to. Okay, now let's see how to create. First grid with two equal sized columns. Two equal sized columns means there are 12 columns available. So what we can do, six columns we can place as a group. So just I'll use here like column MD6. Inside I can take anything you can take there. Just I'll use some span tag here. Span tag, welcome to Bootstrap. Like this I use. The next is 6 columns also. I'll take like column MD6. So span class, welcome to Bootstrap. So first we are taking one row. That row we are dividing into two sections, two divisions. Each division, six columns we are merging there. So that now when I try to run the page, you can see like welcome to Bootstrap, welcome to Bootstrap. But really it is divided into two sections or not. So it's not sure. So that's why what I can do here is I will take some style tag here. I'll take some style tag and I'll use two class selectors. In one class selector, I'll use a background property like pink. And I'll take another class too. I'll take a background property like wheat or something. So here, what I will do. This div element means the first division. Okay, so what I will do, I will use the class 1. And here, I will use the class 2. So that now when we try to run the page, now the page was divided like this. Two equal sized columns, each column having 6 sections. They are merged like this. Any number you can create like that's it. Now, suppose I want to have like this grid with what I can say three equal sized columns. Three means what I can do. So I can take four sections here. Hmm? Four columns. I will group them and then I'll present. So that now we have three columns, each with three. Of course, if required, what we can do, we can use some margin between the div elements so that you can have some space there. That's it. Now, next to what I want to do. Next to what I want to do is like I'll create a grid with variable sized columns. Variable sized columns means different size. So again, first what I'll do here, div. What I'll do, class equal to variable sized columns. First I'll take one division. In this division, what I'll do, so class equal to column MD8. 8 columns I will use here. Even I take class 1. So what I will do, inside span tag, welcome to Bootstrap. Okay, next what we'll do. So already 8 columns we have given. Next we have remaining 4. So both are using class 1, class 2. First 5 columns, they are divided into one group. Next 4 columns divided there. And even you can make experiment also. Suppose here also I will give 8. Actually, there are only 2 columns per row, 12 columns. Now 8 plus 8 means it will be 16. So how it is going to present? So because that 8 columns does not fit in what row, so what it is doing, just it is placing in the new row there. So if the content is not fit, then what it will do? It will immediately move the content to. And of course, suppose if I write like, if I use only 4 classes, actually we have 12 columns available. Suppose if I am using only 4, so 4 plus 4, 8 I am using. What happened? 8 columns it is using there, but 4 columns, nothing was taken. So we are not using those 4 columns. Actually, Hashwant, still they have not shared me. I think we have the WhatsApp group available, right?
Yes, sir.
PM or 5:30 PM WhatsApp like
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, just you can send it to that group.
Okay, sir. I will send it, sir.
Like that. That's we have to check there. So, okay, I'm using like 812 likes. So this is what exactly grid system. In each grid, you can place a specific content. Like that's what we can do. Even because I'm using span tag, so what I can do, I can use the property. can have. Because span you don't have that text align property. Why? Span, font, mark you, they don't have text align. Why? Already we discussed. But ma busy you are. So why we can't use that? Span. Span element, font element, we call them inline elements. So they are displayed along with the previous and next content in the same line. But when we take a div element, when we take headings or paragraphs, they are block level elements. So because they are completely displayed in a new line, so there you can use that. That's why you just see here, if I am using span and I am using text align, it's not applied there because span don't have that property. But div element has that property available. So that's why it is aligned there. So all properties you cannot implement on all elements. That's the reason. So this is what exactly grid system means. If you are working with the Bootstrap, you must create pages using this grid system. First, divide your data into rows. On each row, you just declare like how many columns, how many rows you want to have in each grid, like that. Accordingly, you can place the content. Like now, now let's see typography in Bootstrap. Typography nothing but the effects we apply for the text. The effects we apply for the text. So whenever we are printing some text, so how the text elements were printed, like whether they are heading elements or whether they are some other elements. So how the content were displayed, what is the font size used by the elements. So that's what generally we call it typography. Now I'll show you. Just see here. I will go like this. So what they say about typography. See here. Bootstrap 4, because we are using the version 4, it uses a default font size of 16 px. Actually, when you are working with like normal this browser, every browser will have its own default font size. But Bootstrap, what it will do, it will use a default font size of 16 px and it will have a line height property 1.5. And not only that, it uses the default font family Helvetica New. Now let's see here. Actually, when we take these browsers, for example, Chrome it uses the default font, what we call it Times New Roman. But this particular Bootstrap, it uses the default font that is Helvetica New. It is using its own font style. It uses a font called Helvetica New. Suppose if this font is not available in your browser, then it will use Helvetica. Can you switch on the fan? Then it uses Helvetica. Suppose if this is also not supported, then Arial. So like that, this is the font family used by Bootstrap. And not only that, what they are doing, all paragraph elements, they have the margin top 0 and margin bottom 1 REM. So I already told you the difference between EM and REM. While specifying font size something like, you can specify the font in the form of EM or REM. REM is nothing but the default font size. Whatever the default font size that is used by the page, so we call it REM there. And when you take EM means the font compared to the parent element. So the font compared to the parent element, based on the parent element's font size, the child font is declared. But REM means complete, the default font used by the page or the browser. Okay, so we can use the font size while defining. We can use PX, we can use PT. Like that, we can use EM, REM. Plenty of measurements are there. So it uses the margin bottom like 1 REM. That's what they say. Now let's see what are the classes they have provided. What are the classes they have provided? Let's see the things one by one. First thing here, it is headings in Bootstrap. Already we know HTML provides 6 different headings for us. So headings in Bootstrap. So just we can take 6 headings here. H1, if you want to use the align property, so Bootstrap class itself, we can use text align. I'll write here like this is heading 1. So how many headings we have? 6 different headings. H1, H2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. So that's what we are getting. Now, suppose that we are not using Bootstrap. Let's say I'm removing this CDM or I'm just keeping in comment. That's the font size. So it is using the font size called Times New Roman. Times New Roman is the default font size. And even you can see the headings like they are having some margin at the top. By default, the browser will take some margin on the top of the page. Now, suppose I will remove these comments. So just observe here, these are the headings set. So the heading margin top, it is 0. Okay, the Bootstrap pages, when we see margin top, the default value is 0. And of course, between each heading also, there is a very small margin provided. The way of presentation, it is completely different. That is used by Bootstrap. Along with the headings, Bootstrap has provided some special headings here. We call them display headings. So what are these display headings? Now see here. Suppose I will take div1 class equal to display1. So there are 4 classes. There are 4 classes. What are they means? Dot display1, dot display2, dot display3, and dot display4. 4 class selectors provided. So here we are using display1. Okay, just I'll write some text like hello world. So 4 display classes, 4 display headings we have, 3, 4. Like this we can. Now the text will appear like this. When compared to normal text display headings, the text will have more bigger size there. Generally, when we see like textbooks, any chapter or paragraph starting, just they will keep a big letter there. The first letter of that paragraph or chapter like. So that's what exactly we call display headings. If you want to provide some different size. So display 1, display 2, 3 and 4. The text is printed here. So that's one more tag provided. Now what are the other classes? What are the other classes? Let's see here. Uh, we can have like code, mark and KBD elements. Okay, even they have provided like ABBR also. Formatting tags we discussed. Code, what is the purpose of code tag? What is the purpose of code tag? Formatting tags, we have used code. What is the purpose of that? Any programming related elements you are providing that you can place inside the code tag. ABBR abbreviations, mark for highlighting the text, KBD for providing the keyboard shortcuts. And they will display a different font that I'll show you. Whatever the font that is used by the OS by default. The OS font, it is used by these code and KBD tags. Okay, now let's see what are the tags they have provided. Even text related means they have provided like a small tag also. Small we have used it already, big and small, right? Now let's see how it will print. So just I'll use the code tag and I'll write like printf function is used to display output in C language. Just something I'll write. Otherwise, I can write here like code BR. I can write like BR. BR tag is used to place cursor in new line in HTML. So BR is a programming related element. Printf is a programming related element. System.out.println programming related. Sir, any programming related, whether they are keywords or identifiers or functions, whatever they are, we can place in between the code tag. Suppose now see, code I'm not using what any bootstrap there. I'm not using bootstrap. So how it will display? How it will display means you can see this printf and BR tag are displayed with the keyboard font. A different font they have displayed. The default OS, whatever the font it is using, that particular font, these tags are using here. Okay, no bootstrap. Even display headings also not applied. Normal hello but. So now I will apply bootstrap on them. Okay. Now what you can identify with code. So when we are using the code tag, that particular elements, the text, whatever we write inside the code, it is displayed with some pink color like this. That code element, it is printed with some pink color. That's the code tag. Okay. Now let's see some more things. KBD. The shortcut key for undo is so Control Z. So I will write inside KBD. Control plus Z. Just I will write here Control plus Z. I'll use some line break tag. Okay, here also, suppose assume that we are not using this Bootstrap library. We are not using this Bootstrap library, then that KBD, whatever we write, so same, the OS font it will use, it will print. Now, when we are using Bootstrap, so how it is printing? Let's see here. It's printing the content like that. Reverse VDU, we call it. What is the normal VDU? Black on white. Black letters on white background. So here it is using reverse VDU. White letters on black background. That's what you are getting. So that's one more thing. Next, small. I will take one heading. Welcome to Bootstrap. Refresh. The heading was displayed. Now this Bootstrap, what I will do, I will place in between the small tags. I'll place in between the small tags. Then a little bit smaller at the same time. So it is displayed as plain text. Even we are using as heading, plain format only it's print. So light color, if the content is printed. So that's a small. Then we can have mark tag. Mark tag, what we can do? Oh, mark. I will write some text inside. This is a highlighted text. Something I'll write inside. This is a highlighted text. So that suppose there is no bootstrap, everything you compare with basic HTML. Everything you compare with basic HTML. In HTML, mark tag means how it will appear. So bright yellow color, the text will appear. Bright yellow color, the text will appear. Now I am removing this. You can have the text displayed like a light yellow color. You can have these a highlighted text. The text displayed with light yellow color. So that's what text related properties, formatting related properties. We call it typography, how to present the text. Even we can see, like I will take some DL tag. Okay, description list, I will take the DL tag. DT, HTML, DD, what I will write? Hypertext, markup, language, like this. So I will take a set of DT there. Now, the first thing, no bootstrap. No bootstrap means how it will appear. The term and the description or definition it will present. And that description or definition, it will take some text indent, some spacing it will take. And the terms are displayed plain only, no bold effect, nothing. Now, suppose I am using the elements according to Bootstrap style. Refresh. So what difference you have observed there? When I say refresh, what difference you have observed there? HTML got bold. So the terms are displayed with bold effect automatically. The descriptions, they are not using any indentation. Descriptions, they are not using any indentation. In the same column, even the description also present. In the same column, even the description presented. So that's what here. So typography, how to use typography in Bootstrap, how to apply text effects in Bootstrap, that's the thing. Nothing very easy to learn. Suppose if I want to work with the tables, so I want to apply styles on tables, but I don't know what classes available. Simple, what you can do, just you type tables in Bootstrap, 4 or 5, whatever it is, you can. The official website you can go, but example wise, W3 schools better, just to go there. Bootstrap tables, they will provide different formats for tables. What are the classes available, how they are done. They will show each and everything. Suppose you find that this table is looking better. Just try it yourself. When you go for try it yourself, you can see what are the classes provided. Just use the classes, any changes you want, you can change, and you can print the content accordingly. Okay, you can print the content accordingly, just like this. So that's one more thing we can use in Bootstrap. Next, what? Let's see colors in Bootstrap. So what are the different colors? Bootstrap, it has provided some built-in classes which represents a specific color. So text colors, background colors, it has provided a specific set of classes here, color classes. So what are the classes provided? Now let's see. H1, a normal heading. Now what are the properties that are given? So we have some properties available like text primer. It's a predefined color. Okay. So similarly, we have some other classes provided. Secondary, text light also. So these are the classes they have provided. So this is text primary, text secondary, success green color, warning orange color, info, and this is danger red color. You can see text light. Actually, text is there, a very light color you have. This is text dark, dark black, something it is showing like this. So text colors, if we want to apply, they have provided like this. Now suppose I want to use background colors. Suppose I want to use background colors. Simple, what I can do, just this text I can replace with the right. So PG like this. You can have the background colors. So BG primary, secondary, success, warning, info, danger, light, and these are the colors we have. If required, we can use a combination of colors also. We can use a combination of colors also. So what I can do, I want to have text one color and background some other color. So just I can say like So here text background dark was applied and the text light was applied. So to apply colors on text, whether they are text colors or background colors, these are some default colors provided. So Bootstrap has provided a set of classes that these are all class selectors. Dot text primary, dot text secondary, dot text success, dot text warning like that. Similarly, dot bg primary, dot bg secondary, all are class selectors. Which selector you want, just specify the class name and we can use it. Okay, now which class you want, you can specify the class name and we can use it. So suppose if we want to implement all these things, if we want to implement all these things normally, so what happens? So if you are want to implement using CSS styles, many properties like we have to use. But built-in classes are provided. Which class you think better, you can use it. Not only that, let's see here, one more thing I'll show here itself. Spinners in Bootstrap. So what are these spinners? I'll show see here. Just I'll use some div element class equal to so that's what exactly we call spinners here. That's what exactly we call spinners here, like we can. And these spinners, if required, we can use some colors also. These spinners, if required, we can use the colors also. Like what? So text primary. So whatever the colors you want, you can use. I'm not going to use all colors, but we can use it. Why we are using it's not the thing. In your page, whatever the elements required, you suppose while working with a page, you want to display the status of loading. There we can use these spinners. What are the classes available? I am showing. Which class you want, you can use it. It is up to you. And even not only that, so this success spinner, what I will do, I will use a property that is spinner border SM. Okay, that green color, it will appear like this. So that one thing we can use, spinner border. Otherwise, the same spinners we can use using one more property that is spinner grow. We can say spinner border or we can say spinner grow. What is the difference? I'll show you. Both are used to specify the status there. Okay, that's one. So if you want to have all these things in CSS, so you have to use animations. So many properties you have to do. But here nothing. Which classes they have provided, just use the classes. Automatically they will be applied there. So what is grid system in Bootstrap? What is typography in Bootstrap? And what are the different colors that can be used in Bootstrap? Spinners, different concepts, whatever they are, and how they are done, just we can describe like this. So just to practice them, in our tomorrow session, what we'll do is how to work with images, tables, and similarly how to work with forms. Forms also to present the forms, Bootstrap has provided some classes for them. Even using Bootstrap, you can just implement form validations also. Using Bootstrap, whenever the user enters some input, whether this input is valid or not, that we can specify using Bootstrap also. So just try to implement them. Some more properties we'll see in the tomorrow's class.